How are you going to become an effective ice skater if you don't get on the fucking ice? You can't do it. You can't do it. You can sit there in the stands. You can watch them unlimited. You can watch. You can say, oh, look at that guy. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. Look at this guy. You're not going to learn until you get the out there. And then what you're going to realize is all the laughing at you, they won't even get on the ice. They won't even put the skates on. So why do you care what they think? This major mental block is just not understood by people. You know, people will say, so I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Well, if that's the case, why aren't you doing shit? You can say that all you want, but your actions tell the story. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to motherfucking reality. Guys, today we have Q&AF. That's where you submit the questions, and we give you the answers. Now, if you want to submit your questions to be answered on the show, you can do that a number of different ways. DJ's going to tell you how.
Yeah, the first way, guys, you can email your questions in to askandy@andyfrisella.com. You guys can also submit your questions in the YouTube comments on the Q&AF episodes, or just click the link in the bio in the description below if you'd like to be pulled to be a caller.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that was all.
So ask us your questions. We'll give you your answers. If this is your first time listening, we have multiple formats of the show. Today's Q&AF. Tomorrow's going to be CTI. That stands for Cruise the Internet. That's where we put topics on the screen. We speculate on what's going on. We talk about how we, the people, need to solve these problems being created in society. And, yeah, that's it.
That's it.
What else do we got?
We do have a fee.
We got 75 hard verses.
We got that.
Yeah.
We got real talks.
We got real talks.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of stuff.
Talk some real.
Yeah.
Shows within the show, baby.
Hey, if you're unfamiliar with 75 hard, where the fuck you been?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're interested in it, you can get it for free at episode 208 on the audio feed. Again, that's 208 on the audio feed. 75 Hard is the initial phase of the Live Hard program, which is the world's most famous mental transformation program ever, and it's free. All right, episode 208 on the audio feed. And then you can get the book called The Book on Mental Toughness at andyfrisella.com. It is not free. We do have a fee for the show. Mm-hmm. Fee is very simple. Do us a favor. Don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
Yeah. What's up?
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going, man?
Good.
Yeah. Just had to replace the rim on my truck.
What happened?
Benton cracked it again. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever find the snake?
No.
Really?
Yep. Now, so, when shit's happening, you're thinking like, it's almost like a hypochondriac almost. Mm-hmm. So as soon as I was like driving yesterday, I started getting smells. You know what I'm saying? Like I started smelling shit coming through the vents.
Well, you think it killed it?
Well, I think so. But so like the first one, I started smelling like a skunk. But it was just a black dude in front of me smoking weed. So I'm like, okay, we're good. Then I started smelling like it was just like weird, like nasty burnt plastic. I'm like, what's that? And then I saw a white dude smoking meth driving in front of me. So I'm like, okay, got it. That's not that.
So it's not the snake.
It's not the snake.
Yeah. So you didn't smell the snake?
No, I didn't. I was just freaking out thinking I was, man. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's weird, bro. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Well,
I don't like it.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah. And then I had to replace a rim on my tire,
How'd that happen?
St. Louis, potholes, bro. Mm-hmm. We got some bad roads here.
Yeah, how come I never have to replace rims?
You don't go to the city like that though.
Yeah. You do?
Yeah.
Where?
Like 55 northbound, bro.
Where do you go down there?
I still go. I got family down there, bro. I still be in the shit.
So that's where you hurt the rim?
Yeah, on the state streets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right.
It's hot over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, it's been a good day, though. I'm here. I got some good questions for you.
All right.
We're going to make some people better today. Yeah. How you feeling?
You know what?
5 alive?
I think so.
Yeah?
Think so. Still trying to get past this.
Kung flu?
Yeah, whatever it was. The Kung flu. The Chinese virus.
China. That's right.
Why do you keep calling it the Chinese virus? Because it's from China.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's get some calls in. I got 3 of them.
All right.
So let's knock these out. All right. Yeah, first question. We got a write-in for you. Andy, I've been teaching martial arts for almost 20 years while simultaneously being a full-time school teacher. I never did it for money. I did it because it gave me a way to help people transform their lives. But now I'm tired. I'm 5 years away from retirement, and I'm struggling to keep the school open. Part of me wants to close it, take my time back, and start pouring into the people in my immediate circle, the ones who've often taken a back seat while I've served this passion for 2 decades. I know I don't need your permission to make this decision. What I am asking is for your perspective. In your view, does success have to be measured by big accomplishments, or can it be found in the smaller, quieter things we invest in? I feel guilty for wanting to stop, like I'll be letting others down, but I'm stuck at this crossroads, and I want to hear how you see it. I would appreciate your thoughts on this. I have a month left to make this decision.
Well, what's it matter what I think or what I see? You're the one that's got to live your life, dude. You know, I can't sit here and tell you what success means for every individual. I exist for those people who want to go out and build an extraordinarily traditional, successful life, make money, kick ass, be fit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. I can't tell you how to determine success for yourself, but here's what I will tell you is that a lot of people, when they have a hard time making financial success, they will start to tell themselves a story about how it's not that important and I didn't really want it and it wasn't something that I wanted anyway and I got tricked into going for it, and then they start blaming everybody for their own failures and then settle into a life that they never actually wanted because what they actually wanted ended up being much harder than they anticipated. So my warning to you would be, it's okay to determine success as being different things than what, you know, maybe we talk about here on the show. That's fine. But at the end of the day, most people who abandon the traditional wins of a successful life that most people consider to be successful, making good money, being fit, having strong relationships, having a good life, doing what it is you want to do. You know, these people are moving away from that because they couldn't cut it. And so I would just warn you to make sure that that's not what's going on. You know, if you've done this for 20 years and you're truly tired of it and you want to change and you want to do, dude, by all means, man, you know, we only got one life to live and you got to do the things that make you happy. But at the end of the day, being broke doesn't make anybody happy. No matter what anybody says, no matter how they try to play it, no matter how they try to spin it, that makes you miserable and it makes your life a lot harder. And, you know, I guess my answer to this question would just be, just really think about why it is you feel the way you feel. Because if it's a temporary thing and then you give it up, that's going to be a problem because it's going to be hard to get it going back again. And you might not have the opportunity to go back again. If it's a long-term feeling that you've felt for a long time and maybe you need a switch of direction in your life, that's fine too. But make no mistake, dude, there's going to be no sitting around, relaxing, chilling, talking about the good old days, enjoying the breeze through your hair without some financial freedom. That's the reality, okay? And you will have all these people tell you all these things about how it's not important and this and that and this and that. But then out the other side of their mouth, they're always complaining about how they don't have any money, how life's not fair, how hard it is. And they bitch and whine and complain about the things they say that they don't even want in the first place, which is the ultimate form of hypocrisy and the most annoying form of hypocrisy because it's very apparent to everybody else from the outside what's actually going on. You know, you're not the first person who ever decided to make a change because it was hard out there. And, you know, you got to tell yourself, oh, well, I got different priorities now, and then just give up on the dream. Like, bro, People have been doing this forever. And it's interesting to me how many people try to hide behind this, how many people try to fool people. They try to act like they're having some sort of moral enlightenment moment when in reality, bro, you're just unable to do it and you're not willing to put the work in that's required to become the person that you actually want to become. And if you're quitting on yourself like that, I can promise you the rest of your life you're going to regret. So you got to be very careful when you make decisions like this. Are you making this decision because it's actually the truth? What you're saying is the truth. I want to change of direction. I want to do something different. I want to do different with my life. If that's true, then go do that. If it is, you are saying, man, I've never really been able to make this work. I've never been able to make this go. I've never been able, so I'm just going to kind of retire myself and look another direction and pretend that I just want to be this vagabond hippie mentality type person. You're going to be miserable there too. So I would just be very careful when you make decisions about changing paths on what you're doing and take all things into account. Yes, quality of life is the ultimate point here, right? We want to get to a point where we're happy, we're productive, we've got the resources to do what we want. That's what everybody wants. But, you know, we somehow in this country have started to mistake pulling away from what some people will call the rat race into some little, you know, like simpleton life, which by the way is fine, okay? But you think you're not going to have any problems, dude. I mean, you're going to have problems. It's going to be hardships. There's going to be things you can't do. There's going to be limitations. And if you're okay with those things, that's fine. But the reality is, from my experience, most people that ask questions like I'm being asked right now are doing so because it's very hard at the moment and they're trying to justify moving on to something else. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to make their quitting sound more palatable.
Acceptable to everybody else.
Correct. And themselves. Yep. And it's just another justification that our bitch voice tells us about how we want to live our life. And then once we get into it, we're right back where we started, where it's like, fuck, dude, I want more than this. This is not what I wanted. And then you're back at zero. So
20 years.
Yeah, dude, it's a hard decision to make. And I think a lot of people, with the way society is right now, I mean, look, dude, you see people quit their jobs and other people cheer for them. You know what I'm saying?
So strong.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, you're so brave.
That's the weakest, loserish shit on the planet. And if you look, all those people that do that all quit their jobs and are miserable and not doing shit and struggling. And they put on this face out in the world like they're so much happier and they're so this and that. But dude, you can't be that happy when you can't afford to fucking take care of your shit. You can't be that happy when you know you're leaving all your talents and skills and potential on the table. You can't be that happy when you're struggling every day to buy a gallon of milk. It's just impossible. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I see through the bullshit, and so does everybody else, by the way. You're not fooling anybody. So I would just make sure, my perspective is what you asked for. I would just make sure that whatever you decide to do, you have a plan of what you're going to do next, and it mass out so that it can support your lifestyle.
I think because I read the emails, I read these questions and stuff that come in, and I feel like there's always this common question like at the root of it that people are really asking. And I guess the question is like, when you're on the path of success, there's plenty of metaphors and analogies that you can put this to. But when you're on that path of success, you're climbing that ladder, or you're in the jungle, right? You're in the weeds. What are the signs that you look for to know that you're where you're supposed to be? How do you know I'm putting all this work in, I'm putting all this effort in? How do I know that this is going to work?
Well, that's the hard part of being successful, DJ. You don't always know. That, dude, being able to live with the uncertainty of going down the path is part of the skill set that has to be developed for successful individuals. There's no guaranteed path for people. There was no guaranteed path for Elon Musk. There was no guaranteed path for Jeff Bezos. There was no guaranteed path for me. There was no guaranteed path for any of these people that you look up to. They took a risk, and the reason they took the risk was because instead of asking themselves, man, what's going to happen if I go out there and fail, they asked themselves the inverse of that, which is, what's going to happen if I never try? What's going to happen if I never go after this? What's going to happen if I don't give it everything I got? What's my life going to be like if I let this idea or this project or this business pass? Okay? And that is more painful to them than the idea of falling on their face. I don't give a single about what anybody thinks about me falling on my face. Okay? I've already accomplished more than 99.9999999% of humans that ever walk the face of this planet will ever accomplish. So I don't care if I fall on my face. What I actually care about is if I have something that I feel driven to do and I don't do it, how am I going to feel when I'm going to die? Okay? And that's what makes successful people, driven people, achievement happen. They don't wonder, what's going to happen if I do this and I embarrass myself? They don't give a bro. What they wonder is, man, if I don't go do this, how am I going to feel about it knowing that it could have worked? Or if I see someone else do it and it works, and then I just let it sit there and, I didn't do anything with it and I didn't become who I was supposed to become and I didn't get in shape and I didn't make that money and I didn't build that, project, or I didn't do that business, or I didn't build that organization. I didn't ask that girl out. I didn't. Bro, you're going to be dead. You're going to be dead. Okay? So you're really not risking anything. That's the point. All right? Nobody's going to remember that you started a little business and fell on your face in 30 years. No one gives a shit. The only way they're going to remember is if you fell on your face enough, learned enough, and built it into something amazing where it's recognized universally by everybody. Otherwise, they're not even going to remember you falling down. You know how many times I fell on my face building what we've got now? 1,000,000 times. Do you know how many times people bring it up? 0. They don't give a shit because I've won. Okay? Well, I haven't won.
By the standard, yeah.
By the standard, their
it.
standard. I don't feel like I've won. I feel like I'm just getting started. But the point is that you have to start thinking like a winner and like a successful person thinks. And successful people understand that falling on your face in front of a bunch of losers isn't shit. It doesn't matter. Don't care. What the do I care what people think? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the attitude.
They're not paying my bills.
Yeah.
They're dude, it's irrelevant. And dude, people on the beginning side of the journey, dude, and it makes sense, okay? Like, it's their perspective, right? Like when this is your world, okay, and you're living in this little bubble that you see as your entire world, and you're refusing to understand that there is this entire universe outside of that bubble that has no idea who you are, doesn't care who you are, doesn't care about you. To think that they're going to care that you fall on your face is egotistical. You're giving yourself more importance as an individual than what you actually have.
You're worried about the wrong shit.
It's not even that. Yeah. You're arrogant. Yeah. You think you're more important than you actually are. You are not that important. You are not important enough for people to really give a fuck about you falling on your face. You're only important enough to you. You care about that, but the rest of the world doesn't. So if the rest of the world doesn't give a fuck, why do you give a fuck? It's like going ice skating, bro. You go ice skating, right? This is the best example I can think of. Yeah. Because almost everybody sucks at ice skating. Okay? When you go to ice skating and you put on the now, not me because I've played hockey my whole life, but when you put skates on and you go to the little thing and you rental and you see everybody falling on your ass out there, what do you think? You don't think anything.
No, I'm next.
You're like, dude,
that's
gonna be me. Fall on my ass
that's
too.
Gonna be me.
You don't even think about it. And everybody's falling on their ass. They're eating shit. They're falling down in front of their kids and nobody gives a Nobody gives a Now, that's the same way business works. That's the same way achievement works. That's the same way setting a goal and going after it works. Everybody falls all the time. But for some reason, when it comes to this part of our lives, we have a big problem with people seeing us fall. We're like, oh man, I don't want to stumble. Bro, it's the same thing. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing when they get started. And only after, 100 times of skating do you see them come out and do the
ballerina twirls,
the fucking
and shit.
triple sow cows and shit, and make you look like a idiot in front of your girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're like, that guy's gay. Like, but like, dude, we don't think of it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Everybody's falling down. You just don't see it. They don't get on the internet and say, fell down again today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, guess what? I bounced a check today. Oh, guess what? I'm out of money today. Oh, guess what? They don't do that. All they do is they say, bro, I made $70 million in one minute.
Mm-hmm.
Buy my course.
Yeah,
and that's what we're seeing. And that's not real. The realest shit is to understand that everybody falls the fuck down. And if you can't accept that you're going to be one of those, how can you ever become the guy doing the triple whoop-de-whoops?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't fucking do it.
I'm sure he had a first day too.
Dude, listen, bro. How are you going to become an effective ice skater if you don't get on the fucking ice? You can't do it. You can't do it. You can sit there in the stands. You can watch them unlimited. You can watch. You can say, oh, look at that guy. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. Look at this guy. You're not going to learn until you get the fuck out there. And then what you're going to realize is all the laughing at you, they won't even get on the fucking ice. They won't even put the skates on.
Won't lace up.
No. So why do you care what they think?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this major mental block is just not understood by people. People will say, so I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Well, if that's the case, why aren't you doing shit? You can say that all you want, but your actions tell the story. So I just think, we all have to realize, like, nobody that you admire started out going out on the ice the first time looking like Wayne Gretzky, bro. It's just not reality. And if you're not willing to look stupid, you can't do it.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. I love it. We got let's get another question in, man. We got a call. Let's get Brandon on the phone.
Hello.
Hello, this is Brandon.
Hello?
Hello, is this Brandon? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Brandon, what's going on, man?
What's going on, dog?
What's up with you, man? Where you calling from?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, okay. All right. I heard the twang in there.
Yeah, what's up,
A
Brandon?
little bit in there.
What's going on, Andy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
Cannot complain. I'm on my way back from Knoxville.
From Knoxville?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, that's beautiful country out there, man.
It is.
What are you doing?
I drive trucks for a living.
All right, cool.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. All right, Brandon. So what we got, man? How can we help?
So my question to you guys is that I am, well, to give you a little history, I'm 24 years old. I have a young family of 3. I have a 3-year-old, a fiance, and I have another son on the way due in January. I'm a truck driver. I'm in the military as well. I'm in the Air Force Reserves. Basically, my question to you is that I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, to where I feel like I've accomplished building the foundation for my family, and I'm trying to find a direction on where to build upwards from. And I'm always asking my family members, like, hey, what should I be doing? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? They're like, well, Brandon, you're 24, just relax, enjoy what you've done. I'm like, no, but it's enough for me. This like, I'm itching for something else. It's like I'm trying to find another purpose to feel fulfilling. Because yes, I'm grateful for my accomplishments, but I feel like there's something else that I should be doing, and I can't figure it out.
All right, so let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about your job, correct?
Not necessarily my job, because I want to say my goal is to end up buying my own rig and owning it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I've been saving up for a while, been driving for like 3 years now. So, that's neither here or there, but I'm trying to figure out what other steps can I take towards that. Is there something else that I should be doing? Is something I can't be doing? Like I'm trying to figure out which direction to go here, or if I should just be like, well, I've done everything I can do right now. I'm gonna just sit. But I'm like, no, but I can't do that.
Yeah. So let me. Okay. First of all, for 24 years old, bro, you're doing really good. Okay, and you should feel definitely good that you're moving the right direction. Your family's growing. You feel a sense of deep obligation to provide and set a foundation for them, and you have a goal past the point of where you're trying to go. Now, here's where this is what I would tell you, dude. Owning a truck that's a goal, right? But like, bro, you're 24, right, man. You could own 1,000 trucks. You know what I'm saying? So my encouragement towards you is to realize that whatever limits that you have in your brain, those are other people's limits. Those are people's limits that you've grown up around. Those are people's limits that, you've had installed into you, whether through school or the military or people that you respect. And that's not a bad thing, but you just have to recognize that your life is your life, Brandon, and you already have something that most people your age do not have, which is self-awareness of what's going on. And while a lot of people are going to look at what you're doing and they're going to say, Brandon, you're doing great, bro. Just chill, just relax. Let it happen. Let it happen. That's how you end up doing the same thing you're doing now when you're 34 and then you're 44. And now you're miserable with that. So you having your mind in the place that it is a very good place to have it, because what I'm hearing from Brandon is, I'm hungry. I want to move. I want to be fulfilled. I want to make sure I'm putting my time into something that's going to be worthy of that investment. And that is a powerful mentality to have when you're young, because most people don't get that until it's too late. They will listen to your friends right now, Brandon, and they will say, all right, cool, I'm doing good. And then at 34, they'll be in the same spot, and their friends will be saying the same thing. Brandon, what are you bitching about, dude? You're doing good. You're doing great. This is okay. And you're not happy, okay? And then at 44, you finally wake up and you say, man, I've been living to their standards, and I want this. But now you've wasted all this time. So the good news is that you are not going to have to waste all this time. You're already on top of it. And to your friends and families who are telling you, hey, man, just relax. Dude, look, that's their limits. That's their life. That's what they want. That's not what's going to make you fulfilled, or you wouldn't even be asking the question. So what do I think you should do? I think you should continue to do what you're doing. I think you should learn as much as you can about your profession. I think you should figure out a business plan of how you're going to have 10 trucks by the age of 30, not one truck. And I think you need to start taking action against that. Because, dude, I'm telling you, bro, like, when I was 24 years old, I was 4 or 5 years into my business. I still only had one retail store. And if someone had came to me and said, bro, you're thinking too small, that would have benefited me a lot, because it took me another 6 years to really get shit going, because I thought that I was winning. I thought, hey, man, I'm doing good. Most people don't have this business. But the truth of the matter was, I wasn't fulfilled. It wasn't big enough. It didn't require all my attention. I didn't have to pour myself into it the way that I do now. And I needed that project to be fulfilled. So, I would encourage you to think about that, Brandon. I would say, how are you going to own 10 trucks by the time you're 30? And how are you going to 1,000 by the time you're 40? That's what I would like to see from Brandon, because it's not going away, bro. And, your expertise in logistics and trucking, let's say you maybe 5 years, maybe it's all automated trucks, but you have such good relationships with the companies and the logistics and all these things that you're able to create an amazing logistics company off of that. So, bro, a lot of times when people feel unfulfilled, it's really just because they don't have something that's big enough that requires all of their skill set. I was just telling my friends here, my buddies, in the podcast studio yesterday. This is a parallel story, but you'll understand what I'm saying. I was not a very good student. I tested very high on standardized tests, the SAT, the ACT. I would test out of the room on those. But my grade point average was, a 2.0. And I was ranked at one of the top academic high schools in the whole country, almost last. I was like in the bottom 10 in my class. And when I went to college, because I tested so high, I got into some nice colleges, and I went to St. Louis University for my first semester. And in my first semester, I ended up finding my way into a level 4 political science class. And dude, it was so hard. But at the end of the semester, I got the highest grade in the class. Everybody else got C's and B's. I got an A+. And the reason I did was because it was so hard. It required all of my attention, all of my interest. And I felt very proud of that. And that was the first time in school that I ever felt like, yeah, I did something here. This mattered. And it took me until, funny enough, that was almost the end of my college career. But but the point is that, dude, if we don't test ourselves and we don't push ourselves and we don't hold ourselves into account to be great, we're going to feel like we left it on the table, bro. And that's the last thing you want. You know what I'm saying?
Correct, 100%. Because, see, that's why I joined the military to begin with, because I joined the military right out of high school. Then the whole COVID thing happened, and then I ended up getting put out of the military because of the whole mandate stuff. 3 years down the line, when my son he's turning 4 this year, I ended up going back in because of him. I was like, well, I owe it to him, but also I didn't feel fulfilled in my military service, also because I feel like I left stuff on the table there as well. So that's why I eventually ended up joining the military again.
Yeah. Well, look, bro, here's the thing. Anything we do in life, if we don't give it our all, it's never going to fulfill us. No matter, bro, even if you're on a sports team and your sports team wins the national championship, and you didn't try as hard as you could have, you're going to always feel like that trophy doesn't really belong to you, And
correct.
And that's a very important point of our life. And that can go even into CEOs and founders and operators of companies. There becomes a point where, when you found a company, if you're doing it right, they don't really need you. And when the company's performing really well, but they don't need you, that creates an empty feeling, even though you're checking all the boxes. The score is the right score. You're making the right money. Things are going well, but because you're not putting it in, you end up feeling depressed and unfulfilled. And dude, honestly, this is why we hear these, very successful people end up dealing with very dark issues, because the way the game has been presented to them is work hard, automate the business, step away, let it print money. And then these people go get on their boat and they're miserable, bro, because the game isn't about what you get. It's what you give.
Right.
It's what you're giving. It's what you contribute. It's what you put in. And when you're not putting it all in, bro, you're never going to feel fulfilled.
You're right.
I know, brother. So look, man, my long story short, one sentence answer. You got to expand your goals, bro. Bigger vision for you. You weren't meant to have just one truck, bro. I can hear it in your voice. Okay? You were meant to do something that is much bigger than that. And you have a lot of life and a lot of skill and a lot of hunger and a lot of love inside of you, bro. I can hear it. And you got to put that into something, your career, your family, 100%, dude. And that feeling you're feeling, all that is you're conscious. It's probably a little bit of God too, telling you, hey, Brandon, this ain't it, bro. You're meant for bigger shit.
Yeah. Because I've gotten, because even with the company I drive for now, it's like I've already been here, maybe like a year and a half now, and I've I'm doing more than the people that's been here longer than me. I started at the bottom doing night shift driving, switched to days, maybe a year, 6 months being into the company. Now I have the people that have been in the company longer than me envying me on how he did this first, or how did he do this, going to the managers complaining.
Yeah, well.
And all I hear is from my man,
Yeah, well, I mean, it sucks to suck.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
They can hate all they want, bro. You're doing the work. They're not doing it.
Just wait till you got your own trucking company.
Right.
They're putting in job applications.
That's right. That's right.
That's how it's supposed to be, bro.
Brandon here's a fucking winner, bro. You can hear it.
Yeah.
So.
I love it, dude. I love it. Well, Brandon, we appreciate you calling, man. Hope that helps.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for what y'all do. Honestly, y'all have overly helped me with this problem. And I appreciate y'all. And I listen to y'all every day, every morning in the truck. So y'all get my day started every morning.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, Brandon.
You got to text us.
Yes,
text this number a picture of that first truck you get, bro. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I got y'all.
All right, man. I'll see you, Brandon.
See you, dude.
All right.
I love that, man. And it's so important, bro, because...
Bro, this is why the fuck I do this.
I love it.
That is why the fuck I do this. That is why I do this. People are like, what do you fucking do all this shit? And blah, blah, blah. That's why.
Brandon.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Young man going out, building something that matters, taking care of his family, setting a fucking example, holding the standard higher, getting his peers are all pissed off. Yeah, they're pissed off because you're doing what they should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Dude, it's like that lesson of just thinking bigger is so valuable.
Bro.
It's hard, though. It's hard for people when if they don't have any examples of what that looks like, or they don't know, what it's hard.
That's
it can be
why
a very difficult thing.
That's why you have to go out and intentionally get in proximity of successful people and the life that you want. When I had nothing, I would drive up and down the streets of nice neighborhoods and look at houses. When I couldn't afford a Ford truck brand new, I was going in the Lamborghini dealerships and looking at Lamborghinis with my brother for years, okay? You have to intentionally put yourself in situations that allow you to touch, experience, taste that life. If that means going to dinner once every 6 months to a really nice place that you really shouldn't be going to dinner to, you should do that, okay? If that means, paying $100 or a couple $100 to be in proximity of other that are on your level or that you want to be, that's what you should do. You have to be intentional about putting yourself in contact with these things because, dude, you're right, bro. Most people never know someone who drives a Rolls Royce. Most people don't know someone who's built a real company like that employs, all these people and shit. Most people don't know, we don't know. Like,
yeah. Seeing it online ain't enough.
I was fortunate enough, dude. Yes. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to actually know a guy who was fairly young who was successful. And I mean, he ended up not being a very good thing. He ended up with some problems, but I just leave it at that. But the point is that if you can't see it, it's hard to believe it. It's hard to believe that it's possible. So you have to put yourself in the proximity of these things that you want in this life that you're trying to build on a consistent basis. And the most interesting thing that will happen to you when you surround yourself with people that are very successful is that you will realize they're really not any different than you. They're really not. Mm-hmm. They're the same. And there's no magic and they don't have these... They're just a regular person, bro, who went all in and never stopped, And
you just haven't started yet.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I love it, dude. I love it. We got another call. Let's get another call in, man. We got Amy on the phone. Let's give Amy a call.
This is Amy.
Amy, hey, how's it going? This is DJ.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fabulous. Thank you so much for your time.
So what's up, Amy? How are you?
Hey, great. How are y'all?
Good. So what can we help you
I want to
with?
thank you so much for your time. Seriously.
Oh, yeah, obviously. I mean, this is what we do here. So
It's amazing. I did the 75 hard and did the live hard year. It's just been an awesome change of mentality and everything. So first and foremost, thank you.
that's amazing.
So real quick, because I want to be the best for your listeners as well as your time as well. So I have a small business that I started, under 15 employees, started 4 years ago. My question is, with two owners, I vaguely remember seeing or hearing something that you had mentioned, but I cannot for the life of me find it. Was it harder on you, or I think you said it was harder on Chris the first year, and it appeared to everybody else that he wasn't doing as much or anything, something similar to that. And my question for that is because it's harder on my spouse to understand, well, why isn't so-and-so doing as much as you? But I'm the face of it. I do all of the like customer service aspect of things. I'm out and about doing all of the stuff. It's a very labor intensive job. I do all of the bookkeeping, the QuickBooks, the taxes, the social media, all of it. And the other person runs the crew portion of it. And so that's what's harder for my spouse to understand is it's going to be heavier on me right now, which I actually love. I don't mind it in the least because I know it's just blood, sweat, and tears. But I wanted kind of another person's perspective of what it took to get to that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, before I get into this, let's understand this. There is no perfect way to balance out responsibilities in business or at home in the household. Okay, and just like an effective household, an effective business has to be run as a team. And there should not be these arguments about, well, I do more, or I do this, and this is harder, or this and that and this. Look, we just do what the we need to do. And that's what's required to have a good home, and that's what's required to have a good business. And in the early days of my business, Chris did everything, okay? I worked with the customers, which we didn't have that many. So Chris did basically all the ordering, all the back end, all the bookkeeping, all of those things. And, you know, I dealt with the customers, but we didn't have any. So it was like I wasn't doing anything. And as the business grew, you know, my lift became a lot heavier and his lift was not as seen, right? And so people would see, you know, a different dynamic. They would see like, well, Andy seems like he's doing all this shit, but you know, they don't see the backside. And
that is exactly how I feel.
Yeah, dude. And that's just people who don't understand how a business is supposed to operate really understanding, because the truth of the matter is an effective winning company, they don't do the tit for tat, you know, everything's equal. They do the, hey man, we're going to win and whatever needs to be done, we're going to do it. Here's the shit that you need to do. Here's the shit that I need to do. They're both important. Let's go take care of them. And that looks different in each person's role. You know, today we have Sal has his role. I have my role. Chris has his role. Jason has his role. We all do different things that if we didn't do those things, none of the machine would work. So there has to be a trust and a understanding that we are all doing our jobs and nobody's job is necessarily more important than anybody else's, because without one of them, none of them matter. So
exactly. That's how I feel, is without that person, I wouldn't be successful.
Correct.
But it just appears that it's heavier on me right now. And I'm okay with that just because I'm the face of it.
Well, look, if you're the face of it, it's always going to appear that way. And here's the bad news. You're going to get the credit, but you're also going to get the bad shit too. You know, like,
which I'm okay
Chris
with.
be
Like
chilling.
that's part of business owning.
But dude, that's just part of the deal, man. And people who aren't in every single winning business that I've ever been in contact with operates the way I just said. Every single one. Every single business that I see fail, they do what they do what people do. You did this. You did that. You spent $4,000 more on your suits than I did on my televisions. Like they argue over
tit-for-tat
yeah,
shit.
bro, it's stupid shit. And
Agree.
the reality of winning is that everybody has to handle their shit, and none of it's more important, and it's all required. And to me, in my companies, I mean, the person who packs the box in the back of the warehouse is equally as important as the decisions that are made at the very top. Because if they don't pack the boxes, our decisions don't matter. So everybody's doing their role. And and if you do that in a humble way without ego, you end up with a functional culture and organization.
Yes.
I don't think that. I think it's very hard for people who are not in an organization or on a team that operates that way to really understand that. What is your?
That's how I feel with my husband. Like he's super supportive, super loves, like, I mean, just all in, but he struggles with why is it all on you? Why are you doing? And I'm like, you don't even see the day-to-day stuff. So why are you nitpicking? Like, it's not, well, it's hard for him to wrap his head around. But I'm like, you're not in it every day. I am. It's different. So
here's the conversation. Hey, look, I know you're looking out for me, and I know that you care, and you're making sure I don't get taken advantage of, but here's the reality. It takes everybody here to make this work, and you may see it as I'm doing all the work, but I promise you I'm not, because this and this and this still has to happen, and these things are happening. And, for you, you have to understand that's coming from a place of him trying to make sure that you're not getting screwed over,
Completely.
Which, I think any good husband has that protective instinct inside of them to make sure that their wife isn't being with, so I don't think it's a bad thing that he thinks that way. I think it's just
not in the least. And that's why I don't want to sound like he's
for sure.
Fantastic. It's just, it's been a hard balance, because I'm like, there has to be other people that have experienced them being the face of it to start. I mean, from the ground up, it wasn't me giving anything. It was literally starting it from my self. So it's heavier on me, and I'm okay with that. I love it. Like I freaking love it every day.
Well, it doesn't sound like you have a real problem.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I needed that validation that it's harder for, like, it's equal. It's not the same for every person.
No, and dude, here's the other thing. You're going to go through phases. Like there'll be 2 or 3 year phases where it's harder on one of us than it is the rest. Right? Like,
sweet.
That's a normal thing. In the beginning, it was harder on Chris. I would say now it's probably harder on me. And I think Chris would admit that, but I don't care. Like I look at how I look at it is like, bro, we started this together. We're going to finish this together. And just because I'm doing more now doesn't mean that your skills aren't going to become more of it. Like right now, we're working on this new business concept, and there's a whole bunch of shit that he's doing that no one sees. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's it's ebbs and flows, man. And how I look how I look at my life in general is I've never been a tit for tat person.
Ever.
Even when, and even when I go to dinner, dude, like if I go to dinner and, people are like, oh, I got it this time. Oh, I got it this time. I got this. Like, I don't like that shit. Like, I just figure hey man, it's going to all work out in the end. Like it's all
100%.
It's all going to work itself out. And, at the phase I'm at now, I mean, even my successful friends, like they don't need anything in return for helping me, and vice versa. Everybody understands that, okay, you're helping me with this, and down the road, I'm sure there'll be a time where I have to help you with that. And those things all just even the fuck out over the long haul. And I think that mentality is a shared mentality amongst highly successful people. They don't keep a value or keep score on every little thing. They just understand it's all going to even out. It's all going to even out.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I totally agree with that. And I appreciate that perspective, that I'm not like alone thinking this is crazy. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
No, I think you have the mindset of someone who, I mean, every single successful person I know shares that mindset. Without exception.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I
Thank
think
you so much.
Yeah,
I so
I think
much.
you're
It's
good,
so
man.
relieving to feel like I'm not crazy thinking that it has to be this equal business crap.
no, because the more time you try to spend making it equal is the less time you're effective in the game. You
Yes.
know, it doesn't. I don't. Bro, I take
It
the
just
fuck,
needs to get done.
dude. I take the trash out here if I see it. If I see the fucking trash bin fill, I take it out. Like
Yes, I just did yesterday.
Yeah, it's whatever needs to be done, dude. It's whatever needs to be done. So
Awesome.
I love
Thank
it.
you so much for your time, and would absolutely love you to run for president. So thank you so much. I've learned so much, and it's just inspirational to listen to you every day and cheer you on and spread the joy and the knowledge of being good and helping
the
others.
domestic extremism.
That's right.
Exactly. I am an all-in type of person, so I like that type of mentality.
All right. Well, listen, you're doing good. Just you're not
Thank you.
crazy. You see it the right way. It's reflective of my experience of successful people. So, you know, if there's another way to do it, I don't know it.
Thank you so much. I super appreciate your time.
You're welcome. I'll
Thanks,
see you.
Amy.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I've heard you describe, like, with you and Chris before. It's like yin and yang.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's yin and yang.
Yeah.
I'm doing the shit that he don't want to do. He's doing the shit that I don't want to do. It gets done.
I think that's I think that's a requirement, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I can see why it's hard, bro, because a lot of people are those scorekeeper type people, you
they
know.
are.
And
Yeah, they are.
yeah, bro, and it's not a healthy way to have your home. It's not a healthy way to have your friendship. It's not a healthy way to run your business. You should be around people and surrounded by people that support you. And and if it's a tit for tat and a scorekeeping thing, then how genuine is the relationship really? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, not at all, man. Not at all, bro. I love it, bro. That was some
Yeah.
fire, man. Guys, that was 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, let's get out here. Let's make it a good week. Remember, personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. You winning creates a situation that they cannot control, okay? You are supposed to become fit. You are supposed to become wealthy. You are supposed to be healthy. You are supposed to be unified. You are supposed to be a good person. And every single thing they do is trying to break that down. And when you recognize it, you start to understand the urgency of the matter. It is a duty. It is an obligation. And you guys need to get out there this week and make that happen. All right? So don't be a hoe.
Share the show.